I'm addictive and expensive. Byron Wilcott. And I'm watching WGS-TV.
In conjunction with Hardcore Wrestling Radio and WGS-TV, we'd like to welcome you to this very special interview. I'm going to go ahead and introduce myself. I am the Wrestle Gamer himself, Double B, Billy Bujo, and allow me to introduce my co-host of the evening. He is the host of Hardcore Wrestling Radio himself. He is the illuminous one, the shining star, Rick Star. Rick, how you shining?
I'm shining pretty brightly. Thank you, Billy.
From YouTube.com/LanceMossTV, he is the incomparable Lance Moss. Lance, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
From the hood over on Instagib, ladies and gentlemen, he is the Bay Area MVP, known as Will. Will, what's up?
The Beast. Hashtag the Beast.
Well, hashtag Bully of the Year. He is the current GCW heavyweight champion representing the trilogy. He is the big mother trucker himself, Trucker Jones. Trucker, how you doing?
Good. How about you, Billy?
I'm doing just fine. Ladies and gentlemen, please allow me the honor and the privilege of welcoming our very special guest. You can catch him whenever you can on traditional championship wrestling, whether it be on Cox Sports Television, whatever cable provider you have, or on YouTube, TCW Wrestling Online, or on TCWWrestling.com. It is an honor from one commentator to introduce another commentator. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Brian Thompson.
Okay, now, right now, I don't see a women's division, or at least much of a women's division in TCW. Would you like to have a women's division in TCW, or do you foresee one in the future?
I'm sorry, repeat that question.
Do you foresee a women's division in TCW in any time in the near future?
Sorry, yes, I'm sorry, you cut it out there for just a minute. Yeah, we talked about some of the ladies. There's been a female contingent in the past in TCW. You can actually go. I'm gonna do a cheap plug here. On our TCWWrestling.com website, you can go check out some of the ladies that have been on TCW in the past. Miss Natural comes to mind. We've had Mickey James, a number of different female competitors that have graced our squares. Cheerleader Melissa, she's a recognizable name as far as females are concerned. At this time, you know, the only female, the queen of TCW is certainly Lily, and as long as she is in control, I think we'll see her guiding Titan, and that will be our current lady, first lady of TCW. So maybe in the future, you know, there might be some talk of expanding that out and bringing more in, or even, you know, having a division. But for the time being, Lily is where it's at. And Titan, I'm not. Since it's not Titan, I'm not trying to hit on your woman. I'm smarter than that. I know you have that taken control. So just saying, she's a very lovely lady. How's that?
Now, I'm not sure if you've ever really been following what's been happening over in TNA, as far as a lot of people, with them releasing a lot of people. Do you foresee maybe even trying to pick any of them up, or do you just? What are your thoughts on that with all these releases?
You know, to be honest, there's a whole lot of people calling TCW trying to get in. They know it's growing by leaps and bounds. It's a place to be, and so I'm not going to mention any of those specific names, but you can just kind of read between the lines. So, never say never. Just depending on the situation, the talent, the opportunity. You know, when you look at the rosters, you know, there's more spots, or there's more people wanting to get in than there are spots available. So, just because Michael Cole calls every week, does not mean he's going to steal my spot. It's not happening, boys. We'll fight. We'll have that WrestleMania match, and we'll do it in a TCW ring, and it'd be my hometown crowd. But no, in all seriousness, no. I could see, you know, some of those names I'm aware of that are, I guess, what you would call free agents out there. I think they would be a good potential fit in TCW. Others, maybe not so much. But I'd just say keep watching. You can see some of the. You could look at our next card in Nashville, Tennessee, on September the 6th, loaded. And it's only going to continue from there. You're going to see faces from the past, kind of some of those current level superstars that are somewhat in their prime today, plus the stars of tomorrow. It's really a good mixing pot.
All right, thank you very much. Well, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pass it over to one of the other guys because I don't know they're net with the buzz for asking questions. I'm going to pass it over to Will. Will, over to you.
How you doing, Brian?
Good, Will. How's it going, my man?
Good. Good. I had a question from another HWR writer who's not on the call, James. I guess he's not here. He wanted to know, can you provide an update on the injury of Mr. Saturday Night Michael Berry?
Yeah, man. I mean, if you watch the television, and it's actually, I believe it's the one up right now, you saw that Mr. Saturday Night had an unfortunate incident on TCW television. I could tell you right now, he's seeing doctors and getting some really valuable opinion on whether or not he should continue to wrestle. I mean, that's one of those things. When you take a shot like that, it jars you not only physically but mentally. And then he's kind of in that phase where he's evaluating and getting the best opinions he can. Has been to St. Louis, looking at that and trying to see what's his future going to be. Is it something he needs to strongly consider? And he's spending some time with his family and it's I don't always you can hear by my commentary. I've have been a fan of his in the past. In recent weeks, I don't really care the fact that guys have to look out and pander to the fans. I mean, let's be real. I say get the job done in the ring. I like to see people kick each other's butts, but I didn't want to see Michael Berry carted off like that. Young guy, young family, not too far removed from. I don't want to get into his personal life, but not too far removed from some good things in his personal life. And I hated to see that because the man has a passion for professional wrestling. And if he's listening out there, Michael, I hope you're recovering, and we'll have some updates on television pretty soon.
Okay. Well, if James does listen to this, yeah, he answered your question. One more question, and I know we talked about this earlier, but if you can ever see yourself in a wrestling ring with another commentator, I don't know if I can say that correct. Who would you want to face, like Michael Cole or Josh Matthews?
Well, you
Who
say
would I
one
wanna
thing,
wrestle?
I will annihilate you where you stand.
Watch out for those chair shots.
So Billy? Are you challenging me?
I'm not challenging anybody. I'm just the fat guy behind the microphone. That's all I am.
You know what it is we're his mouthpiece. That's what it is. When it comes to challenges.
Okay, ding
got
ding,
you,
gentlemen, to the corner. So yeah,
Yeah,
Brian,
they're writing the checks. They're writing the checks my body can't cash.
truly.
Well, you're safe, Billy. I won't threaten to want to wrestle you in a what I like to term the end of the promotion match, because when it gets so bad that you got to put me in the ring with another commentator, you might want to just start folding the old tent. But oh my gosh, who would I want to wrestle in a commentators versus commentators match?
I could see you and Todd McKinley.
It wouldn't do good for the ratings.
Maybe you versus Michael Cole or Alex Riley. Maybe Josh Matthews.
What about Mike Tenay?
I'm smart enough not to say either Taz or Jerry Lawler. I mean, or even JBL for that matter.
Although as of late, he's done a lot of good charity work. JBL, he does with a lot of his recent climbs he does for charity for WWE.
Right. Now, is this commentator past or present, or am I thinking more along the lines of active today?
Present state.
I will wrestle. Gosh. What chick is a commentator? I mean, Christy Hemme count as a ring announcer? I mean,
Yeah.
There's Renee Young.
In a mud wrestling match.
Don't forget, Brian. There's Renee Young. They just had her for a few weeks. Maybe you can wrestle her.
Well, maybe she wants to wrestle me. Man, I'm gonna have to tap out on this one. I'm not sure. I've never really thought about who I'd want to wrestle. Typically I'm thinking who, if you had the chance to commentate with as a partner, who might, that sort of line of thinking. But
Oh well, that was
never
gonna be my next question.
within the company, I'd love to wrestle Tom Simon and slap him around a time or two. That's yeah, but
And okay, and that was my final question. Who would you like to commentate with if you had the power to? If you had to pick any experienced commentator in the world, who would it be?
The world. I mean, obviously, if you're a wrestling fan of any sort, Jim Ross. I mean, it gets no better than that. I mean, I feel like Matt Rhodes reminds me a lot of a younger Jim Ross. If you go back and listen to a lot of Mid-South and just put those volumes side by side and take a listen. Now, I know Rhodes will be like, he's a humble guy. He's not as pretty as I am, but he's a humble guy. And he's not going to, he's going to, feel like, shouldn't be in the same breath. I don't want to, be in the same breath as Jim Ross, but that's just Ross was awesome. I mean, Gordon Soley was fabulous. Another guy, and my Memphis man on the line will like this comparison. Lance Russell.
Oh yeah.
So, if I had to name three, it would be Jim Ross, Lance Russell, and Gordon Soley. Now, with a side note of a chance to do if I was just doing straight play-by-play all the time, the chance to commentate with Jim Cornette or Paul Heyman, and them doing their heel side. I mean, they are two commentators that you don't think about. They did commentary at different points in their career as well, in addition to the managing and promoting. If you go back and listen, they were really, really good. And back to it, Chris Cruz, the opportunity to have worked with him was one of the things I will cherish forever in my career. I thought we had a really good chemistry, and he's another guy that's, in my opinion, underrated, not thought of, and whatnot. And of course, Bobby. If I had a chance to commentate with Bobby Heenan, I mean, oh my gosh!
Yes.
I recently had the opportunity to watch the Bobby the Brain Heenan documentary, and I always considered some of his work in WCW to be some of his best commentary work, but to hear that that he was treated very poorly in that company is just something that boggles my imagination, because when you go back and you hear his commentary during that time, you really couldn't tell that WCW was really mistreating Bobby the Brain Heenan.
You're breaking up, Billy.
What I said was, I recently had the opportunity to watch the documentary on Bobby the Brain Heenan.
Oh yeah, and then the fact that he was getting treated this badly, Yeah,
in WCW, but I really consider his commentary work in WCW to be some of his best work I ever heard as a commentator. And with the way that he was mistreated in WCW, Mr. Thompson, you would never hear that out of Bobby the Brain Heenan on his commentary. He was just so professional, and the way he worked, it was just absolutely amazing that he was able to do that.
You gotta leave it at home, man, and bring it now. Sometimes some of us will get steamed and have to tell you what we think on the air, but as far as the Brain, yeah, he was a pro, no doubt about it.
All right, well, Brian, thank you, and TCW rocks, man. It's good to hear from you, and let it go forward. At least it's better than watching Impact. Yeah, I had to throw it there. Well, I'm gonna kick it over to someone else who wants to give you some questions. I'll kick it over to Lance.
Brian, how's it going,
Lance? What's up, bud? Good, man. How's it going, Lance?
Pretty good. My first question: how'd you get into the wrestling business?
Oh man, let's back up a few years. 13 years ago, I was basically. What I had started doing is you're going to enjoy this story, boys. I was going to a promotion called Midwest Renegade Wrestling in It's based out of St. Louis, Missouri at the time. They were running shows in the Cape Girardeau, Missouri area. So I was going to a lot of their shows in late '98, early '99, and beyond. Started making friends with some of the people in the company, some of the wrestlers, some of the office staff, that sort of thing. Started my own wrestling website, believe it or not. Back in the days of, and see if you guys remember when Angel Fire had websites, you could make the Angel Fire website.
Yeah.
So basically, I had my own little website that I was doing, and doing reports on shows, ironically enough, and had done some stuff for this company, the Midwest Renegade Wrestling Company, and kind of gotten in that way. One way or another, I started even having phone conversations with some of the guys that I had flyered and whatnot to help out as far as putting the promotion over in the region before shows. And then MRW folded. It was a three-man partnership. MRW folded, and two of the partners went one way and one partner went the other. Two of them tried to form an organization. It pretty much was a one-show-and-done event. And then the other partners, I think one partner did that. The other two formed a spinoff called Gateway Championship Wrestling. And I received an email from the promoter saying, I've heard you want to be an announcer. Here's your chance. Step up to the plate. Be in Mexico, Missouri on Saturday, May 20th, 2000 at X time. And here's your shot. Can you make it? And my answer was an emphatic yes. So I drove it was a 5-hour drive, and I drove that drive and ring announced that night. I think the house was 75, 100. It was respectable. And I got in with GCW and started ring announcing for them, and I did a few odds and ends things. They had another guy that ring announced, but his schedule was kind of up and down because he does a sports show in St. Louis, so he wasn't always available. So we kind of tag teamed it at times, or he couldn't be there and I would be there, or if he was there, I would film matches or whatever they asked me to do. And so we picked up some local access television, and so I was actually available in about 1 million households in the St. Louis metropolitan area on their TV. And as a side note, I broke in at the same time with Delirious and Evan Bourne, Matt Seidel. So I started in the business with them, same promotion that they started in. And from that point on, I about 9 months in, I had a chance to try out for Memphis Championship Wrestling, which was WWF Developmental at the time, and got that gig as a ring announcer. So that's when I got to work with Brian Danielson, Mean Street Posse, Lance Cade, Umaga, the late Umaga, Steve Bradley. The list goes on and on of guys, and off to the races we go. And that's kind of my break there over the first kind of year of my wrestling career. That's how I got started. So sort of kind of got started doing the internet thing, and it led to some connections, and lo and behold, they gave me a shot. So I was very fortunate to get in that way.
Stoke Artist. Stoke Artist. Stoke Artist. Stoke Artist. Spiritual speaking. Stoke Artist. Stoke Artist. I'm Haley Ringrose. Stoke Artist.
My name's Andrew Weatherall.
Spiritual speaking. Stoke Artist.